NMC ವಿಶೇಷ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ನಾನಂಜು. ಹೊಸ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಬಂತು, GST ಅಂತ. ಈ GST ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಹಾಗೇನೆ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, GST ಯಾಕಾಗಿ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೊಂದಲಗಳು ಕಳೆದ 2 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಇದೆ. GST ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಲೆಕ್ಕಾಚಾರಕ್ಕೆ ನಾಂದಿ ಹಾಡಿತು ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಪಕ್ಷ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಡೆ GST ಗೊಂದಲದ ಗೂಡು, ಇದು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳು ಹುಟ್ಟುಕೊಳ್ತದೆ ವಿನಃ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗೆ ಪರಿಹಾರ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವರ್ಗ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಚರ್ಚೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ದೂರ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ವಿಶೇಷ ಅತಿಥಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಚಿರಾಗ್ ಭಟ್ ಅವರು. ಇವರು ಫೌಂಡರ್ CEO ಆಫ್ Botree GSP. ಇವರಿಗೆ ಮೊದಲದಾಗಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸೋಣ. ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್, ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ. ಸೊ ಇವರಿಗೊಂದು ಪುಟ್ಟದಾದಂತಹ ಸನ್ಮಾನವನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ನಮ್ಮ NMC ಚಾನೆಲ್ ವತಿಯಿಂದ. ಸೊ NMC ಜಾಸಿಮ್ ಅವರು ಇವರಿಗೆ ಸನ್ಮಾನವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ಸೊ CEO ಚಿರಾಗ್ ಭಟ್ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳ ಕುರಿತು ಇವ್ರ ಜೊತೆ ಚर्चा ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ದೇವೆ. सर, इंडिया पे GST सिस्टम आया तो इस सिस्टम पर बहुत सारा एक सवाल उठता है, कैसा सिस्टम है, GST क्या है, GST क्यों यूज़ करते हैं, तो इसका आंसर क्या देंगे आप?
GST as it is introduced in current year after 2017, it is one of the very bold move of going towards digitization.
Okay.
Of all transactions getting reported to the government. The government has been extremely flexible enough in understanding that how much data can the people give to the government and what will be the use of the data. Prior to GST was launched, as closer to June, there was a GST council meeting and most of the data requirement of seeking HSN level details or each transaction level data, seeking the unregistered dealer procurements, seeking reverse charge on the unregistered dealer procurements, they were all done away with because they wanted the compliance to be smoothened up and seeking more and more taxpayers to be part of the GST compliance network. Now, situation is that although India was not Indians as a taxpayer basis, they were not ready with that high level of digital data push because everybody was under assumption that GST will get delayed and all, so much so that the finance ministry actually has to give a clarification saying that please do not rely on the rumor and the GST is definitely going to come on 1st July 2017, because of which the SMEs and MSMEs were not ready with the digital requirement for the GST part. Now that is clearly seen on the data and the compliance ratio. As per the reports of a couple of months back, only 5% taxpayers are contributing towards 95% of the revenue. Now if you go by a classic 80-20 rule, that means there is clearly a gap of non-compliance because of which even government is losing out the revenue. Now, if you see, the government has not taken yet the harsh steps. Government has always encouraged people to do the compliance. So much so that till 31st of October 2018, government has given the complete window for the people to do the compliance of GSTR 1 and 3B from July 2017 till date. There is a really big relief because only 30 to 35% of the GSTR 1 was getting reflected. Now, if GST as a system, if taxpayers do not do the compliance, is a classic fall. Because what the system says, you file sales invoice, that government recognizes as a purchase and credit for the second payer. Right? Now, and government determines that this much purchase is the tax which has been paid by the supplier, only that much credit you will get. Now, if supplier does not pay tax, who is at loss? Receiver. Because receiver has already paid tax and the value to the supplier. Now, if his credit is denied, he gets hit by twice. And this hit is really big because it comes as a surprise to him. It's a surprise element because he has not factored in his cash flow. That's the first part. And the second part over here is the tax rate is substantially high. 12%, 18% when you consider as a cash flow hit. it could be a business disruption case. Because net profit sometimes is somewhere at 8%, 10%. It could clearly wipe off the net profits of the businesses.
Yes, common people can understand GST. It's very difficult concept, I think.
You rightly said that is very difficult for a common people to understand this GST as a concept. The reason being that GST is a summation of VAT, service tax, excise duty, customs duty, all of those together forms one tax. Now, common people earlier were either paying VAT or either paying service tax. When we say common people, which is there, I'm not taking into account the complex business structures where works contract is there, or the MNCs are providing goods and services both, which is there. Also the service which they was to provide, they should have all India one registration, which is there. Now for common people to understand this much of data compliance, the data ratio, the JSON requirement, the government requirements, B2B, B2C, HSN, all these are extremely alien terms for the common people. If you see, there were a good amount of jokes on the lighter part as GST was on a cusp of arrival. Each and every common people were actually finding out what is the HSN number of the product. Now, HSN number is very, very complex. Even the most of the big organizations also consider classifying the product in HSN or this. They take external consultants' help, and those consultants who are substantially empowered by good amount of knowledgeable people around, and still they classify such type of assignments as high risk assignments. Because you misclassify and your tax rate may change from 12% to 18%. So today it is a printed book or it's a normal book that will determine the taxability of the transaction.
What is the difference between old tax system and GST?
Old tax system was a piece of cake.
Okay.
Because in old tax system, the compliance requirements were not that high. The data which you are exchanging with the government was not that transparent. Right now, government has your all sales and procurement data. Not only government, even your vendors and your supply chain network has a complete data of yours, purchase and sales, vis-a-vis the quart compliance SSE. This has created a fear because a data exchange is between indirect taxes and direct taxes. So this has created fear among common people that in VAT and service tax regime, my data was never shared with the income tax, or even if it is shared, it was meaningless. But in GST, the data which is shared with the income tax is a very meaningful data. It could result in disallowance of expenses under income tax. And if you see the recent income tax form also of ITR 3, they are clearly mentioned out about how much is procured from registered dealer, how much is unregistered dealer. Now, to few of my CA friends whom I discussed, that level of classification people are not having. The amount of data which government is expecting from a common people, either in income tax or GST, is magnanimous. You are thinking that every common people is technology savvy and has all the data available with them at all point of time. That's not the case. So I think government should understand the ground level reality that books of accounts is not prepared on month-to-month basis. Books of accounts are not finalized on month-to-month basis. The summary level information you can get it on month-to-month basis, but most of the books are getting closed after 2 to 3 months of the financial period. For the common people I'm talking about. All this discussion is on the common people. That 95% of the taxpayers who are there, who actually constitute volume or under taxpayers, may not constitute value to tax base, but volume. Now the government ideally should look into those taxpayers 95% and create policies and procedures keeping them in mind, whether they will be able to comply with it or not. When you say people with 5% taxpayers who has some good tax team, who has good IT team, which is there, they can comply with any policy and procedures because they have wherewithal. They have deep pockets to spend money. Common people don't have that deep pockets to spend money on technology, to spend high money on chartered accountants.
Yes. If we consider or if we choose the Indian economic system, how it's helped?
Yeah, it has helped multifold.
How?
Prior to GST, the increase in tax base on an average was only 5%. Now the tax base has increased over 75%.
Okay.
The taxpayers, GST tax base, as on 1st of July 2017 was only 60 lakh in pre-GST regime. Now has easily crossed over 1.1 crore. You can understand how much has it benefited the economy. How much of transparency has come into picture. The various corporates who are in the organized sector, they have refused to deal with the people who do not have GST. So they have the change which was there had linked there, left it to only the taxpayers. I would say it would have taken a longer period of time. Because of GST, it was a forced change management on the common people. So overnight, they need to get a PAN card, they need to get a GST registration, they need to actually find an accountant, they have to find who will do the tax compliance.
Okay.
So that has become an overnight change, which is there.
Okay. Totally. What is the opinion about GST? Your opinion?
It's a fantastic move.
Okay.
I would say demonetization was a master stroke for GST implementation because of the digitalization of the data part which you're talking about. However, the implementation had its own flaw because the policies and procedures for the common people, and at the same time, more importantly, is who is going to support the common people in doing the compliances. That should have been thought through. Yes, sir. Taxpayer has increased, and which was even government did not anticipate this high turnout. Even Minister of Finance has appraised the overwhelming response of the taxpayers who have come forward and obtained the GST registration. So it was the Indians have really embraced the GST, I would say. But the support system required for them to do the filing. People want to file, people want to pay tax, but they don't know how to pay tax. That education about doing the compliance, the technology required to do the compliance, which is there, is not deep-rooted down the system. So, in fact, to support that, as a continuation, what we decided is to merge these gaps of supply and demand. That there is a huge high demand vis-a-vis the supply of consultants in this. So what we are doing is we are empowering the graduates and semi-qualified into this, training them into the GST, empowering them to be the tomorrow's entrepreneur, giving them the back-end support of the knowledgeable consultants, and giving them the state-of-the-art technology which is used by the corporates to service SMEs and MSMEs, which is there. Why our e-hubs? At each and every e-hub, there are CAs and tax consultants who have huge volume of clients and who are finding it difficult to do the compliance. They can very well offload their compliance base, the work, to the nearest e-hubs. At the same time, the people who are not aware where to go, they can very well walk into the e-hubs and they will get a complete hand holding. with the accounting, their compliance, their advisory, everything will be taken care of.
आपने अभी टेक्नोलॉजी के बारे में बताया, कैसे ये टेक्नोलॉजी हेल्प करेगा और सॉल्व करेगा कि जीएसटी प्रॉब्लम्स?
That's one of the biggest myth, that only technology will help people to do the GST compliance. Clearly, we are not in the ecosystem wherein बंदे लोग को टैक्स पेयर को टेक्नोलॉजी दे दो या सॉफ्टवेयर दे दो और उन लोग जीएसटी फाइलिंग कर देंगे. जीएसटी फाइलिंग के लिए सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट होती है एक रिसोर्स की, जो नॉलेज है जीएसटी कंप्लायंस कैसे करना, उसको हैंड होल्ड करना. इसलिए खाली टेक्नोलॉजी दे दोगे तो बंदे लोग कभी कंप्लायंस नहीं करेंगे. खाली सॉफ्टवेयर दे दो, फ्री सॉफ्टवेयर दे दो. And we have seen people who have launched free GST softwares, and actually that has been flop show, which is there because people are used to give the files, compliance files, to the reliable tax consultant. Please, you do the compliance. Now the tax consultant should be empowered with the adequate technology. Now, since the tax consultant taxpayers compliances are varying, that's the reason why eHubs fills the gap. At eHubs, it is specialized centers wherein the tax consultants will do, using the tax technology, will do the GST compliance of the people.
अभी आपने बताया ई हब्स के बारे में, और ई हब्स और सुविधा केंद्र ये कर्नाटक में कैसे वर्क करता है, क्या है ई हब्स का कॉन्सेप्ट कैसा है?
ई हब्स कंसेप्ट बहुत सिंपल है, बहुत सिंपल सादा है. जो ग्रेजुएट्स होते हैं, जो खुद का बिजनेस करना चाहते हैं, जो एम्पावर होना चाहते हैं, जो सैलरी से निकलना चाहते हैं, लेकिन उनके पास गाइडेंस नहीं होता, उनके पास एक ब्रांड नेम नहीं होता, उनके पास कोई ऐसा गॉडफादर जैसा कोई कैरेक्टर होता नहीं है ऐसे स्टार्टअप करने के लिए, तो वो लोग एज अ ई हब्स फ्रेंचाइजी में जब आएंगे तो उनको एक हैंड होल्डिंग सपोर्ट मिलेगा, टॉप टेक कंसल्टेंट्स का टीम मिलेगा, द सेम टाइम नेटवर्क बेनिफिट मिलेगा, और पूरा का पूरा टेक्नोलॉजी सपोर्ट जो बड़ी बड़ी कंपनीज को मिलती है वो भी मिलेगी. इस ई हब सेंटर्स में आई एम कन्वर्टिंग अ सिंपल ग्रेजुएट इनटू अ टॉप क्लास टैक्स कंसल्टेंट बाय प्रोसेस ड्रिवन अप्रोच, नॉट अ पर्सन ड्रिवन अप्रोच. एक प्रोसेस है, उस प्रोसेस में काम होता है, वो पर्सन पे नहीं होता डिपेंडेंट उसके लिए. तो उस ई हब्स के लिए जब एक प्रोसेस डिसमेंट करते स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन होता है. फॉर एग्जांपल इन कर्नाटका, यू कैन से इन कर्नाटका एंटायर प्रोसेस सेटअप and entire eHub setup, we have appointed Arvind to appoint, train and bring those graduates and people on the board to do this GST compliances and support the taxpayers over there.
Thank you, sir. You know wonderful details about GST, VAT and Indian taxations. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
ಸೊ ನೋಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ವೀಕ್ಷಕರೇ, ಜಿ ಎಸ್ ಟಿ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು, ವ್ಯಾಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೇನು, ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನುವ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸನ್ನು ಚಿರಾಗ್ ಭಟ್ ಅವರು ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಹಂಚಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇದಿಷ್ಟು ಈ ಹೊತ್ತಿನ ವಿಶೇಷ. ನಿಮ್ಮೂರಿನ ನಿರಂತರ ಸುದ್ದಿ ಮನರಂಜನೆಗಾಗಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರಿ NMC ನ್ಯೂಸ್.